Hey guys, Mr. Ferguson here on Wrestling with Math, and today we're going to focus on solving quadratics by completing the square. Hopefully, my one student Alex could understand the wardrobe and the title here today, so I'll let him figure that out. Okay, so completing the square is the third method that we talk about for solving quadratics. My example here, x squared minus 14x plus 33 equals 9. Now, if you recall from my other methods of solving quadratics, I had to set my quadratic equal to 0, I had to make sure it's in standard form, and I had to make sure the x squared term was positive. For this, I don't have to set it equal to 0. In fact, I actually want to get this constant to the other side of the equal sign. So my first step is to make sure my x squared and my x term are on one side of the equal sign and my constants on the other side. Okay, so what I would do, my first step, is I would subtract 33 from both sides. Remember, we have to keep our equation equal here. So on the left-hand side, I get x squared minus 14x. I'm going to leave a little blank here, okay, and you'll see momentarily why I leave that blank here. And I have 9 minus 33 is negative 24. Okay, so again, that's my first step, getting the constant to the other side. I still want this x squared term to be positive in order to solve by completing the square, and we're not going to do anything crazy right now. Okay, so this is a very basic example that we're going to do. There are a couple of different methods I'm going to talk about here. Okay, the first one is going to be finding a perfect square trinomial. Okay, a perfect square trinomial is a trinomial that can be written in this form, okay, whatever that value is. So for example, if it was positive 2, instead of writing it x plus 2 times x plus 2, we would write it as x plus 2 squared. Again, a perfect square trinomial. What I'm going to do, and let me erase this as to not confuse you guys, I'm going to identify what my b term is. Okay, just like we did a, b, and c for our quadratic formula, I'm going to identify what my b term is. The b term is the coefficient of my x value. So if I look here, my coefficient is negative 14. It's very important to keep that negative sign. My next step here is to divide my b value by 2. Negative 14 divided by 2 is negative 7. Okay? And the next step is to take that value and square it. So negative 7 squared equals 49. Okay, what do I do with this 49? Well, I'm going to add it. That's why I left this space here. I'm going to add it to the left side as well as the right side. Again, we have to keep our equation balanced. Okay, so I'm just going to rewrite this here. X squared minus 14x plus 49 equals negative 24 plus 49 is positive 25. Okay? And my next step here is now to factor this. Okay, we did plenty of factoring. I need to see what multiplies to 49 and adds to negative 14. Remember, I wrote up here, it should be the same number. Okay, so factors of 49, well, it's either 7 times 7 or negative 7 times negative 7. Those are the only two combinations that, well, 1 and 49, but it has to be the same number. So instead of writing it as x minus 7 and x minus 7, I'm going to write this as x minus 7 squared. I'm just bringing down this 25 here. Okay? So if you pair this with our Delta Math assignment, you're going to notice that this is how they want the answer. So I'm going to fill in inside the parentheses x minus 7, the squared is already there, and I'm going to put 25. Again, go back through, rewatch my steps here, pause it, watch it as many times as you need to understand. There will be a part 2 to this coming as a way to solve by completing the square after this, but I just wanted to give the beginning part, and hopefully this helped. All right, thanks a lot. I did want to show an alternate method for completing the square here. Completing the square, think of like we had our box method, and we're going to actually use the box method to help figure out what this value is. Again, I had to get x squared and x on one side. If I wanted to use this here, if I wanted to split my terms up, again, remember when I use the box method, I would multiply the row and the column, and I would get what's inside. I would multiply the row and the column and get what's inside. Remember, this has to be a perfect square trinomial, so it has to be the same exact thing here. Well, first off, in order to get x squared, well, that's going to be x times x. That's nice and easy. How do I get 14x if I'm putting it into those two boxes? Because these two boxes are going to be the boxes that I add together. I combine like terms when I simplify here. Well, if I'm splitting up negative 14x, the easiest way is negative 7x and negative 7x, right? Okay. Fill in the outside portion of your box method here. What times x has to give you negative 7x? Well, the only option is negative 7. Same thing here. Well, it's got to be the same number, but what times x gives you negative 7x? Oh, negative 7. Okay, what's negative 7 times negative 7? Oh, it's positive 49. Oh, okay, so I'm going to add 49 here, and I'm going to add 49 here. Well, we already did the factoring here. So x minus 7 times x minus 7 is x minus 7 squared equals 25. Okay, so I did the same exact process. I got to the same answer by doing a different process here. So this is called the area model here, and it's a slight variation of the actual area model. I kind of simplified it here for you guys, but just another option for you guys to get the final answer. Okay, and again, another video will be coming about what we do to solve by completing the square, but this is the first step. Okay, so again, hopefully this helped you guys out, and we gave a few options for you. All right.